Yo, what's up? So this one is going to be about the Bobby Brown special that was on BET the last two nights. And I'm telling you, man, where do I start? Woo! Tell you, I don't drink, but the hardest thing I drink these days is like Powerade electrolyte water unsugared. So you might need to grab some after watching this. It lived up to the hype and beyond. As a matter of fact, as lit as the new edition one was, this one was like a double spark of dynamite. And matter of fact, let's be realistic. You could do one on BBD, you could do Johnny Gill, you could do the whole group. That's how bad they were. But Bobby Brown. Let's focus first. Let's start with his music career. You know, um, his music career is legendary. He should be a Hall of Famer. He left a lasting impact. Let's be real, because he came around an era where You you not only did you have to make that one song, you had to make that one album that would solidify, and he did that. He came out hard, especially on the second album, "Don't Be Cruel," and then his Bobby album. He had hits, and then he comes from a legendary group like New Edition. So you add those parts together, that means a double bonus with his career. He's had moments, so he should be acknowledged for his contribution is to R&B and popular music. He had that b-boy thing. He had that attitude. He had that swag. He was bringing it on stage. So and plus the fact, gotta give props when he took the Stone City Band. Rick James had gone on a semi hiatus when he went to Warner Brothers, and so Stone City Band came along with Bobby, and they funked it up on stage. So musically, he had an impact. You got to give it up. He had an impact because he in a window that he had open. He made the most of it. And them songs still hold up. He got it right for that window. He did all right. Cause I've seen so-called acts who sold more records or lasted and they don't have his impact. They lasted, but that don't mean that they hit like he hit. So he hit. But this these two parts here was sex, drugs, rock and roll, mental demons, racial, uh, prison, jail, all kinds of debauchery and everything you can think of. And it was tough. The love hate relationship him and Whitney and his other first baby mother, and then Alicia coming on. Alicia's his wife now coming on. His relationships with L.A. Reid and Babyface, and that's with Babyface and Teddy Riley, and then his brother Tommy and his mother and father, and all the things in his um, almost brother-in-law who got killed and his friend who got killed. And so you dealt with a lot of drama, a lot of tension, a lot of just turmoil. Excuse me, and yet this man is still alive, which is a great testament to the power of the Lord. Because I used to always look at Bobby Brown and Mike Tyson in a certain parallel and say, and you can tell these two cats have been through some deep, deep, deep stuff because it's not even like regular stuff. And you're looking at them like, wow, they've overcome so much and they're still functioning because there's a purpose and a reason. And Bobby Brown, and seen life, death, and in between. A lot of self-destructive moments, a lot of indulgent moments, But again, there's got to be some light in the tunnel. And let's be realistic. That the elephant in the room, as everyone was talking about, was his whole escapades with one, if you're nasty, Janet Jackson miscontrol herself. That was wild. But I had heard that a long time ago. But this too, But that's just part of what's there, And everybody got a past. People go through things. People do things. So you know, they was they was about that life for a minute. It didn't work out. So that's just part of the story. And that's kind of how life is. Sometimes things run in, things run out. So that's kind of how it is. You know, um, again, as an artist, early on with New Edition, you could tell he wanted to be solo. I can remember very vividly when Girlfriend came out, and I had that cute thing going. He worked with Larry Blackman and Cameo, but it didn't have that edge. But 30 years ago, yeah, I remember 30 years ago hearing that Go-Go be for My Prerogative. That New Jack Swing was in full effect, and he was putting a stamp on that thing. He was putting a stamp on that thing. Him and Teddy and then with that baby facing him, he had the blend, he had the formula. And like I said before, he was the link for that time that he had rolling when he was the hottest thing going. He was the link between Michael Jackson and R. Kelly because he was like that in between guy, And then you fast forward to his impact on Usher, and I say Chris Brown too because of the movements and certain things that Chris Brown does. Because a lot of the cats that you know uh, what I call using metaphorically street R&B with a hip hop feel and a pop flavor, they owe that to B Brown. Bobby was that dude. He was, you know, it was tough watching the funeral scenes. They all of them were, precious. And then, sad this whole thing with the Whitney Houston debacle at the funeral when they got ushered out. But him and his daughter, that was really tough. If your parents, you really feel on that one. Two songs were recurring themes too. Sign the Family Stones If You Want Me to Stay. And that was metaphorically a lot of his life trying to fit in, believe it or not, because despite all his success and what he had, If You Want Me to Stay was metaphorical. And then the other one, of course, was his signature song that he did. And he had to fight with, the story goes behind the scenes, he had to fight with Babyface for every little step. And Ralph Tresvant from New Edition, his boy, his bandmate, and I know they're going through a little something right now, but sang that second verse on every little step. And every little step is always like another metaphor in his life about taking the right steps, getting the right road, making things happen. So, um, it was very powerful, moving. You cracked up. You wanted to cry. You were looking in anger. You were looking like, "What is this?" It was all the things that you're sitting there like, "Wow!" And this man is still alive. And this is before he's 50. This is like, wow. So the human mind, the human body, the human psyche goes through so much, and you just don't appreciate. Sometimes you got to go through things in life where you got to go through. You got to hit yourself into a brick wall until you turn it around. So, um, Bobby went through a lot. He went through a lot, and I think this movie was therapeutic. It took him back. Wood Harris, now Woodley, who did the lead part of him, did a great job. The pacing was great. There were so many stories within stories. Like I said, there's highs, lows, good, the bad, the ugly, and the unique and the unknown. And there's still stuff that didn't get said. So that's what makes it so compelling. But at the end of the day, he's here. Has a purpose, just like we all do. And I got much respect for Bobby Brown and what he went through. And I'm glad that him and his wife and his children are some sort of peace these days. It's good to see that because he's a good dude. Had a lot of wildness, and we all go through some stuff. So I don't want to sit around judging nobody because people go through stuff. One thing that was recurring is that, despite all this craziness, family was always important to him, and also you could tell the loyalty of his, loyalty of his friends and people he was close to. So he kept that real with him. He stayed real despite all of, like I said, the tension, bullets, and madness. It was real. And it was a very mind blowing done 2-part series where you would like, man, is there anything else? Because if you grew up watching New Edition and things, like you don't want this to end. It's like, can it be another part? Because it's looking for all the pieces to fall in the line, and it was it was definitely well done. I got to give BET props on this. They came up with the show enough. 'Cause sometimes the BET has been like, I don't know, but between this and the New Edition one, matter of fact, just let everyone in the group have their own, and then even maybe a Whitney one, because I mean, this was flaming fire. This was that good. So, glad to see I want to give a shout out to Brooks Payne. Good to see Zora up in there with that whole thing, and everyone in that crew getting their due. So respect and enjoy that Bobby Brown movie. All right, I'm out.